But again, just grateful that you guys are all here. It's way more fun to have people here than to be talking to myself. So, here we are again. We have another opportunity to practice mindfulness, meditation, self-exploration, just trying to see what's really going on, training ourselves to pay a little closer attention to what's going on in the mind and the body and the world around us, to hopefully find a way to navigate through all this with just a little bit more ease, a little more balance. And as my one yoga teacher would say, any amount, any additional amount that we can get is a good thing. That's why I'm here. And for whatever reason you're here, I'm just glad that you're joining us. And as we usually do, I'll start out with a little guided meditation, just to ground us to really arrive here. So you'll want to take your meditation seat or posture. So adjust so that you feel what we call grounded or supported. So whether you're sitting in a chair, a couch, a bed, whatever, just finding a way to be present where you feel really supported, and feel the physical support of that. So you don't have to hold your body up. So feeling that groundedness, from there, inviting the spine to be upright or long in any way that feels appropriate, just an invitation for uprightness, alertness, but not rigidity. So we want to have some relaxation too. So this groundedness, support, uprightness or alertness, and also relaxation. So just inviting those three possibilities in whatever way they show up. And closing the eyes if you're comfortable. If not, just go ahead and have just a soft gaze, just not be looking around, is trying not to be distracted by the visual. So bringing ourselves inward, and I'll let the bell invite us to come in and practice the meditation together. So again, the bell is the invitation to let go of the process of arriving and clicking and looking and all the distractions that go along with this, letting go of whatever happened before you started this process of arriving, and coming inwards. So bringing the attention inwards and just sensing, how is it right now in this mind and this body? What's the general mood of the mind? Is it feeling restless, anxious, worried, or relaxed, calm, sleepy? Just the general mood. And we don't judge it, we just notice kind of what the overall energy is of it. And we can check in with the body and see how that is. See, is it relaxed, or is there some tension somewhere? Is it feeling restless, or does it feel calm? Just the overall energy in the body is like this. And however it is right now, that's what we want to notice. We don't judge it as good or bad. We just go, okay, the mind is like this. The body is like this. And we'll set the intention during this meditation to just keep tuning into how the mind and the body are. What's the overall energy level? Just to notice. And again, we're not judging it. We're just going to notice how it is, moment to moment. And we can do this intentionally by tuning the attention into the body. So bring the awareness down into the body. So that's the invitation. So with that invitation, can we be aware of the body? And you may notice, where does the mind go when you're aware of the body? Do you have a sense of the overall body? Or is there a particular place that it goes when we're invited to be aware of the body? Maybe it goes to a place where there's tension, or maybe it moves to your heart. Maybe it notices your feet on the floor or your hands in your lap. So the invitation is bring the awareness to the body and just notice where it is, and also just generally, how is it? What's the overall sense of the body? And maybe your awareness of the body changes. Maybe 1 minute or 1 moment it's your feet, next it's your hands, then you notice breathing. Or maybe you just have an overall awareness of the body. Again, just noticing, where does the mind go in the body? What does it notice? And how is it? Is it restless? Is it calm? Tense, relaxed? And in each moment, we can just notice, where in the body is the mind aware of? And how is it? So maybe it's an itch, the feet on the floor, the heartbeat, the breath. Oh, and maybe there's thoughts that come in. Even though we're supposed to be paying attention to the body, maybe there's thinking going in. Am I doing this right? Or think about what you had for breakfast. Whatever's going on, just notice what the mind is aware of and how that feels in the mind. Is there relaxation or is there tension? Is there calm or is there restlessness? Moment to moment, what's happening? And how is it? And maybe that instruction is a little bit too vague. Some people have trouble in being aware of this moment-to-moment changing body experience. So we can become aware of something more specific, and the breath is commonly used because it's changing, but it's still a focal point. So maybe invite being aware of the body breathing. So that's the invitation. Can we be aware of the body breathing? Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And again, notice where you feel the body breathing. You feel the whole body breathing, feeling the energy being received on the inhalation and let go on the exhalation. Or maybe you feel the breathing in a specific place, like your belly or your chest or your throat or the tip of your nose. So the invitation is to notice the body breathing and notice where you perceive that. And how is it? Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And can we get interested in this? This simple act, the body breathes on its own, generally. And can we just notice the body breathing in is like this. The body breathing out is like this. And so you sense how that is. It's a sensation. But you also may notice that there's some determination being made too. Breathing in is difficult, breathing out is easier. Maybe not. So is there some understanding of how it feels, not just a sensation, but is it relaxed? Or is it so relaxing, I'm now falling asleep? We can notice that. So how is it, this breathing in, breathing out? Is there tension or relaxation? Calm or agitation? Can we get interested in this simple act of breathing in and breathing out? Can we stay curious? And if thoughts come in, we can notice those too. Judgments, memories of the past, plans for the future, we can notice that. And then just reset the intention to come back to the breath. Breathing in, it's like this. Breathing out, it's like this. Can we stay present and interested in the body breathing? And you can notice if you're still present with the body breathing or if the mind has wandered off, thinking about something else, going to sleep. Just noticing where it goes, if it does just leave the breath awareness. So we get to know the habits of it and then invite it back. Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. Noticing if we're still present with the body breathing or something else is going on. Maybe we're getting sleepy. This is boring after everything that happened before you got here. So a lot of times we tend to fall asleep and just notice that lack of energy, just that, the collapsing. And can we invite some interest or maybe counting the breaths to try to keep the mind more engaged? And for other people, breathing is actually a source of tension. By paying attention to the breath, it may create tension or anxiety. And you can notice that too. And if that's a problem, you could take the awareness someplace else. Maybe to your feet grounded on the floor, your hands resting in your lap. So noticing our relationship to the breath. A simple act of breathing. So much to observe. Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And how does it affect the mood in the mind and the sensation in the body, the energy in the body? Is there more energy with the inhalation? And then relaxing or letting go, less energy on the exhale. Can we stay curious? What's going on here? So checking in to see what the mind is aware of in this moment, whatever it is. What's the mind paying attention to? How does that feel in the mind and the body? Is it relaxing, tensing, depleting energy, or alertness? How is it? Just noticing moment to moment this changing experience that we have. This is our life. Can we stay interested in each moment? And if not, what does the mind want to pay attention to? the past, the future, a fantasy. So by paying attention in this way, we learn more about ourselves, the body, the mind. We get to know ourselves better, what leads to ease and what leads to stress. This is our practice. So the bell rings to invite us to bring the awareness back to the surface from that introspection. And maybe just take a moment and reflect on what you might have experienced, probably a range of experiences during that, where the mind went, what were some things you noticed. Is there a lot of agitation and restlessness and thinking? Where did the mind go to sleep? And how did that feel in the body? How does the body feel now? After that brief meditation. And then letting that reflection go and just come back to being aware of being here together. So again, that grounding meditation is kind of an initial invitation to let go of the usual busyness that we have in the world, all the doing and planning and living in the past and the future, where we mostly live in our thinking minds. And again, to come in and just start this process of really coming inwards to notice what's happening, what's really happening right here and right now in our lives. And this is what we're training ourselves to do, not just during this 45-minute meditation class, but we can take what we learn, these skills that we learn, and take them back out into our life so that we're more present with our life. And we can maybe, what did you notice in that last meditation, right? So did you notice that the mind was still engaged in a lot of thinking and you hadn't really left the world behind? You were in that mode of thinking, planning, you couldn't let it go. And that tells us something about ourselves, right? Or maybe in the quiet, we started to get sleepy or bored or whatever, because the mind didn't have as much to do as usual. Or maybe we just gave ourselves the time to be here, and that allowed the body to relax, and then it just wanted to go to sleep, because we're actually tired. We can notice that too. Or maybe it was both happened, So whatever happened, this is what we're trying to do, is to notice what's actually going on. And the other question we can ask is, what might be helpful to make ourselves feel more present with what's actually going on in life. And that's what I wanted to try to explore today. A lot of times we are just talking about noticing what's going on, but sometimes we actively can invite ways of doing this exploration where we can kind of rebalance what our experience is. And if you think about what's going on, what I just described, whether you have agitation where it's super busy, that's like a high energy level, right? A brighter or a more alert, or sometimes anxious, whatever it is, but more energy. And sometimes there's less energy, and sometimes it's just a stillness or a calm, and sometimes it's boredom and collapsing. And kind of what we want is that sweet spot, right? Isn't that maybe what we don't want to be like super stressed out, but we don't want to be bored or asleep. We want to be somewhere in that middle ground, and that's not always possible. But rather than riding these roller coasters of our energy, maybe trying to find where that balance point is. And our meditation practice, a lot of us come to it because we want more stillness. We're tired of the chatter of the mind and the anxiety and so forth. So we're looking for more stillness. But when we invite that stillness, then all of a sudden we're asleep, And so it's too much stillness. Well, it's boring. So we need to invite brightness. So we're actually paying attention, some alertness that we can invite. And there's different ways we can do this. We can actually learn techniques to try to balance out these energies in the body. The too much calm, which we sometimes call a hindrance, a thing that gets in the way. Too much calm can be dullness, sleepiness, what's sometimes called torpor, where you're just kind of out of it. Um, Too much energy can lead to worry, anxiety, excessive thinking, regurgitating type thinking. And this is another hindrance to a balanced way of being in our lives. And so what we can do in our meditation practice is notice whether one of these things is happening. Are we out of balance by too little energy or too much energy? And again, this is why we come into the body, to notice how it, because this whole energy, the mind isn't separate from the body, and the energy in the body, the energy in the mind, and the energy in the breath, actually, they're all part of the same thing. And so by training this way to notice this connection between the body, the breath, and the mind, we can become more aware of it, and also then learn to manage some of this to bring things more into balance, so that we're not anxious and nervous, but also not comatose and asleep. So we're, to be in that point of clarity or stillness, the still point, sometimes we call it, that balance point, where we can think clearly and we can relate to our experience, but we're fully present. So, and when the mind is excessively like sleepy or excessively high energy, a lot of times we try to use willpower to overcome that. We go, okay, I'm just going to wake up now. I'm going to make myself be awake. But all it does is create tension. A lot of times we still fall asleep, or I'm gonna stop thinking about that. I'm gonna stop being anxious about that. But all it does is lead to more worry. And by using the thinking mind to try to overcome these, it doesn't always work. And that's why coming into awareness of the body can be helpful, because the body knows how to regulate itself. And so that's what I'm going to invite playing with in this next meditation that we're going to do, is using some techniques to use the natural wisdom of the body, the nervous system, that knows how to deal with this energy. There's things that we can invite to counteract either the tendency towards too little energy, which makes us sleepy or dull, or too much energy, which makes us excessively anxious or worried or whatever. So we can, if we're sleepy, we can invite more alertness or brightness by using a longer inhalation, and by inviting the spine to be upright, which I gave as the initial instruction. So inviting the spine to be long, and just inviting the sensation of alertness, even if you physically, have limitations on inviting that. Having the eyes open instead of closed can invite more alertness. And also using the thinking mind to count breaths, like from 1 to 10, so we can actively invite the mind to, the thinking mind to keep more interest in what's going on by using counting. If there's too much anxiety and we need to we want to calm things down a little bit, then a longer exhalation can be helpful. Grounding in the base of the body, that feeling of support if things are too crazy, going into the rhythm of the body, and also counting breaths again to invite calm or stillness by giving the mind something to do. The counting can actually also focus the mind to keep it alert enough to pay attention and actually help to calm it. So I'll re-describe those during the next meditation, but this works with the natural nervous system energies, with how the brain works, and just how the body works in regulating energy in the body, too much or too little. So if you have trouble with sleepiness, pay attention to things that are brightening, like inviting a longer inhalation, inviting the spine to lengthen, keeping the eyes open, and sometimes that's helpful no matter what, so we don't go into fantasy land. Try that, see what happens. So all these things, we'll just do an invitation and play with it. These are all things for you to play with, see what happens with your mind and your body. So that's the theory. Let's do the actual practice. So coming back into your meditation posture, feeling supported in whatever it is, the chair, the couch, the bed, standing on the floor, wherever you are, feeling the groundedness, but also inviting uprightness or alertness. and relaxation. Closing the eyes if you're comfortable with that, otherwise just having a soft gaze and not looking around. And we'll let the bell transition us. So again, the bell is the invitation to let go of all that theory, the ideas, maybe too much information. Let it all go and just coming in and seeing, how is the mind and the body right now? How is it? Maybe now that it's quiet, you can feel the energy level already dropping. Or maybe your mind is still caught on something that I was talking about before, or caught on the past or the future, who knows? Just noticing what the mind is paying attention to, what it notices, and just overall feeling. So relaxation, agitation, calm, tension. Just how is it in the mind and in the body? So we can just notice how it is right now. Let that go, not judging it, good or bad, it just is. And we can set an intention in this meditation to be with the body breathing, just like we did in the first meditation. So the intention is to stay with the body breathing, breathing in, receiving energy in whatever way you sense that. Breathing out, letting go, releasing. So that's the intention, is just for the mind to be aware of, to be with the body breathing in and breathing out. That's the intention, to just stay with that, and then we can just see what happens. So set that intention now. For the mind to pay attention to breathing in, it's like this. Breathing out, it's like this. Can we be interested in this and noticing when it feels balanced and when it feels out of balance? So breathing in, breathing out. How do you sense that in the body? Is it a location? Is it the whole body? Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And we can check in and notice, is the mind still with the breathing in, breathing out, or is it lost and paying attention to something else? Thinking, fantasizing, sleeping. Just noticing what the mind's doing, how that feels, and the energy in the body. Is there stillness or is there agitation? And then resetting the intention, just be with the body breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. We can check in and notice, how is it with this mind, this body? Is there calm or stillness, or is there agitation, alertness? Are we at a middle point, or maybe we're getting sleepy? Maybe this is boring, quiet, we're just tired. If we want to invite more alertness, inviting a longer inhalation, and we can just try that no matter where we're at. So just try taking a longer inhalation, then an exhale. And do that a few times. Longer inhalation. Inviting the spine to lengthen upwards with each inhalation. Any amount, just inviting the spine to lengthen as we inhale. If you want, you can open the eyes and just have a soft gaze, see what happens there. So practice this for 10 breaths. A longer inhalation and inviting the spine to lengthen for 10 breaths. Longer inhale, lengthen the spine for 10 breaths. And after 10 breaths, we can just check in and notice how the mind and the body feel after inviting this. The longer inhale, lengthen the spine, maybe having the eyes open. Do we feel more alert? Does the mind feel brighter or not? Just noticing what's the effect. Long inhale, inviting the spine to lengthen upwards. For 10 breaths, what's the effect? And once you've completed that, just go back to observing, breathing in and breathing out, just like this. Breathing in is like this, breathing out is like this. How is it right now? Is the mind interested, alert? Or is it getting bored, lost in thinking, fantasizing, sleepiness, just noticing? And return to observing the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And checking in to see what the mind's paying attention to. Is it still with the breathing or is it doing something else? Just noticing how is it. Is it present and alert? Is it super high energy or super low energy? How is it? Just noticing. Then we can play with some other techniques that invite more calm or stillness. Especially if you're agitated in some way right now, we can notice and see what the effect is here. So going for a longer exhalation this time. So inviting calm by having a longer exhale. So doing this for 10 breaths. Breathing in and then inviting a little bit longer exhale. Breathing in, longer exhale. And maybe you can even imagine the exhalation, the movement like grounding down into the bottom of your body, down into your coccyx, the base of your body, maybe even all the way into your support. So a longer exhale and visualizing the energy moving down into your base. And doing this for 10 breaths, just feeling the rhythm of that. Longer exhale. Feeling the energy moving down into your base for 10 breaths. And at the end of the 10 breaths, you can just check in and see, how is it right now, this mind, this body? Is there alertness, agitation, or calm, or sleepiness? Just how is it right now? So having done that, we can just check in knowing how it is, like what might be helpful right now to bring the body and the mind into balance. If you're feeling really sleepy, then maybe inviting some of what we did in the first one, a longer inhalation, inviting the spine to lengthen, keeping the eyes open if you're sleepy. Or if you're feeling agitated, a longer exhale, feeling that groundedness. So just noticing how it is, and then staying with the breath, but if you need to, invite what might be helpful to help balance out the energy in the breath, the body, the mind. Inviting a balance between stillness and calm, alertness. Breathing in is like this, breathing out is like this. The energy in the body is like this. Am I in balance, or might something be useful to invite? We're not trying to control, we're just trying to explore. If I do this, what happens? Longer inhalation, what happens? And if any of this feels uncomfortable, just let go and just go back to breathing in, breathing out without trying to manipulate anything. But if you can, stay with this. Breathing in, breathing out. Let's see energy in the mind and the body. So checking in again to see what's the mind paying attention to, what's the general mood or energy in the mind, how does the body feel? So we can notice what the mind's paying attention to and how that feels in the body, in the breath. They're all related. And so we train moment by moment and just noticing this simple act of breathing, what we can learn about ourselves, what leads to calm, ease, yet still allows us to be alert and the mind bright. Moment to moment, we can make this observation to learn more about ourselves, this mind, this body. Let this be our practice. So the bell invites us to bring the awareness back to the surface again. And again, just checking in to what did you observe during that meditation? Did you notice any effects from those different practices that were introduced? Did you notice frustration? Did you notice that you slept through the whole thing? What did you notice? Or did you notice you were planning your vacation through the whole thing? And whatever was going on, we don't judge it good or bad. We just notice this is what happened. And coming back to being aware of being together here. So again, this is just another exploration of a method that can be used to observe or be interested in this mind, its relationship to the body, how the two, the mind and the body and the breath all interact, how they inform each other. And in this case, again, normally we're just observing, we're encouraging observing, but in some ways we can do an invitation to adjust what our energy level is in the mind and the body through some simple explorations like what we just did. So whatever your experience was, maybe there was something you noticed that you hadn't noticed before, maybe a particular invitation or one of those series of inviting either alertness or inviting calm was helpful. Or if nothing else, hopefully you just learned something about what the habits of your mind and your body are. So I'm just grateful that you're here doing this exploration every week here with us, and hopefully there was something helpful, and hope to see you again in a future session.